Yo, what is up? Okay, we're gonna do a quick just wiki. I don't know how long this is gonna be. I didn't like necessarily pre-plan anything particular. I've got a few tabs up. I don't think it needs to go really further than that because there's only like a few questions that I think do have answers. Mainly when it came to Huey. But I'm not gonna play Metal Gear. I'm not gonna play Metal Gear 2, at least not right now. And I'd rather just do like a recap. And that way we can just go straight into Metal Gear Solid. So obviously we wrapped up Phantom Pain and we're going to do this. So we'll of course just start with Big Boss, right? Got a little, do have a little chill step going on in the back just for some ambiance. Obviously there's a whole bunch of stuff, but main thing, this one I wasn't aware of because I never played Portable Ops, which was post Snake Eater. The San Hieronoma, I don't know how that's pronounced, was a Portable Ops thing, and I've never played Portable Ops. I don't think Portable Ops is even on the Legacy Collection or anything like that. But yeah, so this was something that I wasn't sure. Retirement from war was short-lived. Attempt to become an instructor or hunting guide failed. 1966, Big Boss encountered a war orphan known as Frank Yeager. Didn't know that. I'm not a fucking expert on Metal Gear. I really enjoy Metal Gear, but I never even myself looked that deep, especially into the wiki. And the games kind of go right. But I never knew / forget. It's weird. How many people are actually like he reuses a lot of the same people, and or people have met that you didn't even know met, and that's why like when people talk about like how convoluted the story is, it's like it is, but like he wove a really good fucking story, and it's really cool that hint Sigint from Metal Gear Solid 3 is the DARPA chief from Metal Gear Solid. I never knew that. So it's really cool to go through here and go like, oh my God, this person knew this, and oh, this person is this, like before I even knew the in-depth story. So like I played Metal Gear Solid 2 the most. Oh, sorry. I played Metal Gear Solid 2 a lot because I had a friend who had it. He'd come over and we'd play a lot. And then Metal Gear Solid 3, I played a good amount. Metal Gear Solid 4, I played the most because that was the one I was trying to get like the Big Boss, like hardcore-ish going. And then obviously was super excited for Phantom Pain, but yeah, like, so me and my story, like being super young playing those games, like I didn't really get the whole story going on. I kind of played them just as video games, but there's so many connections that I just never knew. So anyways, Frank Yeager, i.e. Gray Fox, he met fucking Big Boss, met Gray Fox. I didn't know that. That's dope. So anyways, so here was one, and we're just gonna kind of skim through this. I'm not gonna go hard. Yeah, this was the Portable Ops. So he met Frank Yeager, apparently Null at the time. They fought on a number of separate occasions. Met Python, no idea what that is. And then Big Boss met fellow prisoner Roy Campbell as well. A member of the Green Berets. Big Boss managed to contact Paramedic, spoiler, as well when we get to it. Paramedic and Sigint in Metal Gear Solid 3 are, I can't remember who Paramedic was, but she's also in Metal Gear Solid, I think. Maybe Metal Gear Solid 2. It's one of the other ones. So anyways, so yeah, this was one I wasn't too familiar with, and then I guess it was just another mission he went on. Big Boss killed Cunningham, went on to kill Gene. Okay, I don't know anything about this, but yeah, with the help of the Red Army soldiers, he had recruited Big Boss, destroyed a nuclear missile. Gene left Big Boss with a large cache of funds and supplies that he intended to use for the creation of Army's Heaven. Go ahead and just double check. I don't know what this is. Okay, it is believed he used Gene's Army's Heaven resources to form Militaire Sans Frontières in Peace Walker. Okay, cool. So, Big Boss, we got the Patriots and L'Enfant Talib. Yeah, Big Boss, and we do know this, Big Boss, and Major Zero, / Tom, were together. Tom started doing some shit that Big Boss didn't like, and specifically creating genetically enhanced soldiers like Solid, Liquid, and Solidus. And he wasn't having that shit, so they split ways. And then he met Kaz. Big Boss was hired by Colombian government to work on their ambush guerrilla leader Kazuhira Miller and his unit, wiping them all out except Miller. Big Boss later established his own merc group known as Militaires Sans Frontières, or MSF. Recruited Miller as second in command in order to ensure Miller was pardoned by the base commander instead of interrogated and or executed. He also blackmailed the base commander with a private journal dealing with subject matter that could result in latter's execution. Now, let me check Kaz. Oh wait, do I actually have him up? No, I don't. Let's just see. So first encounter 2 years prior to the Peace Walker and military travel eventually led him to Colombia, where he got himself in a position as a drill sergeant for a band of revolutionaries, despite never having seen a day of combat. It was during this time that he gained the name Master Miller. 2 months later, he and a guerrillas fought against the Colombian regime. At the time, they're caught in an ambush, being inexperienced with actual combat situations. Half his units wiped out. He ended up sending a soldier to act as bait while he fled. Doing so, he was caught in an explosive booby trap, injuring himself, although not before killing several of the opposition. In the aftermath, he met Big Boss, the enemy commander who was fighting for the government's forces. Big Boss attempted to get him to surrender, although Miller claimed he was unable to show his hands, resulted in Big Boss informing Miller that his men were already dead. Miller then mentioned that he came all the way from Japan as his place was on the battlefield and requested Big Boss act as his kaishaku, an executioner for dishonoring warriors as a part. Okay, harakiri. Yep. However, Miller had actually intended to distract Big Boss to pull his trump card. Miller prepared to take his own life with a grenade that was concealed behind his back to ensure Big Boss died with him last stand. However, Big Boss managed to stop Miller by clasping Miller's hands, thus preventing the grenade's lever from being released. And insists on shooting Miller. He decided ordered them to stop. Miller ended up falling unconscious, although not before declaring that Japan won't lose again. Big Boss, impressed with his spirit, likening it to that of a samurai, and had him recovered from the battlefield. Big Boss then placed Miller in a hospital tent. The government soldier based to recover. After he regained consciousness, it discovered he was in a tent. Arrived to negotiate with Miller, however, did not wish to speak. He did not wish to speak to Big Boss due to him being an enemy. Big Boss revealed not having to come to interrogate him. Nor did Big Boss come to request that Miller join the Colombian government soldier. Instead, revealing Big Boss was himself a merc, and like Miller, was a merc like Miller, and had in fact completed his paid assignment with the defeat of Miller's unit. Intended to convince him to join MSF. Miller, however, declined, especially when Miller was still an enemy. Big Boss then listed an alternative scenario that might befall upon Miller. Big Boss could let Miller be handed over to the Colombian government, where they would interrogate him with bamboo manicure. Bamboo manicure, if anybody is not familiar, is when you slide slivers of bamboo under the fingernail. Anyways, as Big Boss trained the Colombian army in interrogations himself, and then end up executed. He also couldn't return to the guerrilla forces he led due to rumors laced the CIA being spread that Miller had been a government agent seeking to sabotage him, and thus would probably end up executed by his former forces. And there's little chance of him escaping Colombia. Okay, so he gave him no ultimatum. Also replayed that if Miller were to cooperate, the former could ensure Miller received a pardon from base's commander, and explained a philosophy about how soldiers like him are to constantly fight on the battlefield. Miller, while not agreeing to join, decided instead to hold a contest to determine whether he should actually join, as he did not want to admit defeat. Big Boss agreed under the condition that Miller try not to escape, as the soldiers are temperamental at the base. In actuality, however, Miller's contest was a ruse, oh my God, for an elaborate escape attempt, as well as a means to convince Big Boss to join him in fulfilling his own dream of a new form of business. Okay, to this end, Miller had a local peddler, Miel, deliver a letter to his elite soldiers. Okay, we'll see. Boss beating Miller. Okay, yeah, a bunch of shit. Big Boss defeated him everywhere. with Big Boss beating Miller every time to an extent that Big Boss made it easier for Miller by stating that he only needed to win one event to assure his freedom. However, during final event, Big Boss finished his turn. Miller's guerrillas came into position and surrounded them. Miller then explained his goal and tried to get Big Boss to join him instead, not wanting to be subservient to Big Boss. However, Big Boss refused and ended up quickly disarming Miller with a field strap. Which one of Big Boss's soldiers had earlier warned him of this by mentioning that he'll pull his broken gun trick if Miller tried it. To make matters worse, for Miller's own soldiers ended up restraining him instead of Big Boss's forces, albeit reluctantly. Big Boss then admitted that they joined his forces due to Mel showing the letter Miller sent earlier before it reached his destination, and Big Boss met with them as a result, convincing them to join just by sitting down and talking to them one at a time. Humiliated once again, Miller left for the forest alone, declaring he'll make do with himself if that's what he can do. Big Boss, however, pursued him. Damn, I didn't know that. Yeah, I definitely never looked this up. Big Boss knew he wasn't well equipped to deal with bandits in that area. Big Boss eventually reached Miller, though they ended up getting into a fight in which Big Boss... It's so funny because, like, how close they are in the games. Bandits hoping he joined. Big Boss eventually reached Miller, though they ended up getting a fight, which eventually slammed him down on the ground. Miller finally accepted, deciding that he would fulfill his dream through Big Boss said, having acknowledged Big Boss's inner strength, although Miller makes it clear he hasn't lost yet. It's not over yet, and will hold the contest again in the future for real. However, while making small talk, Miller and Big Boss were ambushed by some due to the two having wandered into their turf, although Big Boss subdued them and slammed them to the ground. The two made their way back, presumably also taking over the turf in the process. Years later, Miller would tell Big Boss that he didn't realize until they met there's no such thing as an absolute enemy, and our enemies are always relative. That's usually big. Miller would later play a vital role in the MS management and support Big Boss mission in Colombia. All right, and then there's that, so that's really dope. So I didn't know that. Obviously, like, our goal is not just to read about Metal Gear, even though that's what we're skipping. I just want a little wiki read, get some backstory. Side ops, not worried. Ground incident. Yep. I don't. Wow, look at that fucking bar. Holy shit. Holy balls. Okay, and then obviously we'll get into this stuff right here. Well, yeah. I'm not going to try to like go back and then read it since we're on cause. Let's just, oh wow. Oh God. Yeah. Hold on. They kind of skip after Quiet escaped because later career as Benedict Miller. He later served as a survival instructor for SAS Marine Boot Camp, eventually Foxhound. Yeah, because he's the one who trains solid. His time as a drill sergeant, he was referred to as Hell Master. Ooh, that's really good. Master Miller, the utmost. Master Miller. It was Foxhound. There's too many Metal Gear awesome references. That are so easy to make. Training camp that he met Solid Snake. Now he was married, lived with his daughter, Catherine. Oh, I don't know. It's just Catherine. This sucks. Fucking, where did it say it? So, hold on. Master Miller was hired by Campbell to serve as a survival consultant for Foxhound. Miller thus assisted Solid Snake by radio, providing him during Big Boss. Miller referred to Big Boss as a monster and urged his unarmed protege to find something to use as a weapon. Moved to Alaska, helping train Alaskan scouts. Wait, where did I just see it? Hold on. Or did I go down too far? Didn't it just say he was murdered in his sleep? Where did I just see that? Okay, well, let's just keep going. See, and this is going to get at something too, because Big Boss as a monster, it does feel like Venom kind of became an asshole, a bad guy. Anyways, equipment often, yeah. Oh, there it was. Shadow in February 2000, Miller was murdered in his home by an assassin. Was it Gray Fox? He's probably murdered by Gray Fox, wasn't it? and assassin. Snake. Oh, says Miller. Oh. Oh, I forgot about that too. Yeah. Cutting system. Huskies. Okay, it is not directly given liquids. Oh, given liquids later impersonation of Miller is implied that he was involved in the hit. Interesting. And this is where we get into a whole nother thing too, because Liquid, according to Phantom Pain and these wikis, Liquid knew Kaz and knew Ocelot, and yet kind of has a relationship with them, which is super weird. Okay. So we won't worry about Metal Gear Solid. Okay, we have Metal Gear. Miller first appeared. Whoa, original? Ugh. Oh, he's definitely more Japanese though. Original name, McDonald's, also been... Okay, first appeared MGS2 Solid Snake, where he was originally depicted as an Asian-looking man with black hair, presumably the Japanese survivalist. Okay, later became a little bit more white. Okay, so back to Big Boss. So that's cool. So we got some background on them. The main thing about Big Boss that I was unclear on. Actually, before we get, let's just talk about Huey. We do have confirmation that Huey was eventually reunited with Strangelove and they became romantically involved during this time together. Strangelove was allowed to keep the mammal pod, although at some point, they had a child named Hal. Huey was allowed to develop the exoskeleton. During one of his tests, wait, where is it? Hold on. Does it say here? Okay, it's not saying it. Where is it? It's still unclear. It doesn't look like he had anything actively to do with Cypher's attack at the base. Like I think he genuinely didn't know it was a Trojan horse. Is it under Strangelove? It's under Strangelove. Yeah, here's her and Hal. However, she ultimately ended up getting into an argument with Huey about using Hal as a test subject. So he put Hal, because apparently the Sahelanthropus cockpit was only allowed for a child to pilot it. I have no idea what the point of that is. Okay, so she sent, to protect Hal from Huey's experiments, she sent her son to Africa. Huey then sealed Strangelove in the mammal pod. So we did get confirmation that Huey, yes, did kill her. I think they do a good job explaining it, but it still felt unclear, and maybe other people picked on it like, oh no, he did it. But like when I was playing Phantom Pain, I was like, did he do it or not? I can't tell. So, but yeah, he confirmed it. And then that's pretty much really all of it. We won't get into his because he is actually talked about by his son, by Hal. And some stuff I forgot about. Again, playing Metal Gear Solid 2 a little bit too young, and then forgetting the overall story because there are, so many things are out of order. So yeah, so that's what happened with Huey, because he ends up going and I think it's talked about in Metal Gear Solid 2. He remarries, and then there's a thing that happens there, which we won't get into now. So Big Boss, here's the biggest thing. I could not for the life of me figure out why Big Boss, or the whole Venom in Big Boss, because it's like, well, if Phantom Pain, you're essentially a good guy, right? Like you are technically the good guy. You are trying to stop Metal Gear as always. But then what is with Big Boss sending Snake, when they were both part of Foxhound, to stop Venom, if Big Boss and Venom were like this? And the wiki told me the answer. This was something I was unclear of. So yes, Sometime after Venom defeated Skullface and regained his memories, Big Boss sent a cassette tape to Venom labeled "From the Man Who Sold the World." That was unclear because it says sometime after. It was unclear if that was actually after, like, maybe a little while after he woke up in the hospital, and maybe Venom knew he was Big Boss, or Venom knew he wasn't really Big Boss throughout the entire game, and that was just something they were willfully withholding from us, or if that was after, because it happens at the end of the game, but that doesn't mean that's when it happens. So this confirms it. Yes, it was after. And then what is this? So Big Boss actions, however, made him an enemy of Diamond Dog's XO and former comrade Kazuhiro Miller, feeling that he'd been betrayed after learning the truth. So Miller decided to oppose Big Boss and intended to aid his Phantom and sons in bringing about his downfall. That's weird because I don't know why Miller would side with Venom, thinking it would later screw up Big Boss. Well, it is talked about because Miller, I don't remember where. See, this is where, like, getting a little bit, maybe it's in Outer Heaven. I think one of these, it said Miller trains Solid in that effort, like hoping that it would go against. So that's where that sucks, because yeah, they did that, and then all of a sudden Big Boss leaves Venom. Ocelot's down for all of it. But that pissed off Miller. So later, let's see, he does more stuff. He gets near mythical status because of Venom Snakes also doing stuff. This is neat. Afterward, he served as a combat instructor and worked to reintegrate former child soldiers into society. One of them, young Sniper Wolf. Yeah. I.e. Sniper Wolf from Metal Gear Solid. That's cool. Again, connections. People know each other. I can't remember which wiki I read it in specifically, but this was it. So at some point, Venom's doing his thing. Either Venom and Big Boss. Okay. It says, yeah, here's what. After completing the construction of Outer Heaven's fortress in South Africa. So this has nothing to do with MSF. MSF is still out there during this time. This is where it gets kind of interesting, because both of that, this implies, like, Outer Heaven's fortress in South Africa. So Big Boss's reputation and mercy have traveled far and wide thanks to activity. While he knew that the mercenaries around the world would eventually rally to his cause, Big Boss also knew that it would bring the attention of the government. So needing to keep attention from Outer Heaven. So Big Boss is specifically building Outer Heaven. But then he decides to return to the US to rejoin Foxhound as his commander, while Venom Snake takes control of the operation in his absence. So this is where there's a little potential oversight. It's a convoluted story, whatever. What happened to MSF? What happened to that oil rig? I don't know. Unless I'm already, again, forgetting that this is Phantom Pain. That's what I'm getting at. Was this the Phantom Pain right here? Is that where they built it? And I'm sure in the wiki somewhere it says. But yeah, so either way, they complete it in South Africa. Wait, no, see, and then if Big Boss leaves, this implies that Venom was at MSF while Big Boss was doing another one. And then he left to Foxhound, and then Venom initiated the Outer Heaven Uprising to build a TX-55 while holding Madnar's daughter, Ellen, hostage. This is where we get our answer. it's not said here, but I remember seeing one. Basically, Big Boss, so he sends in Gray Fox first. Gray Fox gets captured, and then he sends out, Gray Fox sends one code or like a message out to it, and it just says Metal Gear, and that's what they receive. And then Big Boss sends Snake and plans to give him misinformation. He sends Snake thinking he wouldn't succeed. That's what happens. So, yeah, and here, okay, so we got learn Metal Gear's development in Outer Heaven. Big Boss commissioned Foxhound to infiltrate the fortified nation, destroy the weapon before anyone else could buy Venom, so he could buy Venom Snake time to finish it. Big Boss first sent in Gray Fox. He was captured. Yeah, when Fox was captured, Big Boss briefed Solid Snake, Foxhound's least experienced member, about the situation. He sent the follow-up mission codenamed Operation Intrude in 313 to rescue Fox and destroy Metal Gear, while also informing Venom Snake of the operation. So later, Solid Snake showed his skills beyond Venom Snake's expectation, leading Big Boss to start feeding Solid Snake with false info and eventually telling him to abort the mission to prevent Solid Snake's success. Despite Big Boss now actively attempting to sabotage the mission, Snake disobeys his orders and succeeded in infiltrating Outer Heaven and destroying the Metal Gear. Afterwards, Venom Snake confronted Solid Snake personally, calling himself Big Boss after engaging the base's self-destruct countdown. Solid Snake, Big Boss's Phantom, Venom, fought 101, and the latter was ultimately killed with his Phantom and Best Man dead. Outer Heaven destroyed. The real Big Boss left Foxhound for good and used Venom Snake's death to fake his own. Yeah, so I assume because they look identical, they're not. That's what they're not saying. Is Solid would have seen him and went like, Big. What the fuck? Like, didn't you send me on this mission? And then that's what causes real Big Boss to be like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Let's go back. So Solid Snake, I've been expecting you. I'm the Supreme Commander of the Foxhound unit and the leader of the Fortress Outer Heaven, Big Boss. I gave this mission to you, a rookie, thinking I could use you to fool the rest of the world, but you were too good. You went too far, Solid Snake. I'm not going down alone. I'm taking you with me. Prepare to die. So that was Venom Snake. And he even said, I sent you on this mission. Let's see, is there really anything else? Big Snake. It's unclear what happens to Quiet. They don't really say canonically what happens to her. Venom Snake, Big Boss falls. This is just talking about like he's not 100%. These were kind of like proof that he wasn't Big Boss because he had some other unsavory traits. Yeah, so they were friendly with Venom, believing he was Big Boss, rescued from Afghan upon his rescue. However, as time went on, distance increased between the two, with events such as the sparing of both Quiet and Huey's lives, broadening the gap, yet Miller continued to support Venom Snake. When Ocelot told Miller that Venom Snake was a body double, Miller was disgusted and enraged due to having been kept in the dark for so long. He instantly began to resent real Big Boss, abruptly deciding that he would devote his life to assisting David and Eli in destroying the real Big Boss and helping Venom Snake to surpass him. Don't worry about this. Talker, yeah, these are all just like his, which I'm not too worried about because I'm just really worried about, not worried, but with Outer Heaven. So that's Venom. Let's see. Now we got Zan's. Well, let's go with Outer Heaven since we're kind of talking about it. Let's just make sure. Operation. First assignment. Big Boss briefed him. Snake infiltrated. This is just like the specifics. Building 2, Metal Gear TX-55. It was later revealed Big Boss had survived while Phantom. Okay, just another dead soldier. It was later revealed that Big Boss had survived while the Phantom, who was killed in Outer Heaven, was actually his body double. This the conclusion of Operation Intrude saw NATO launch a massive aerial bombardment wherein a pinpoint strike was executed on Outer Heaven's nuclear weapons facility. Okay, there were reports of a nuclear blast in the aftermath, but the truth was hidden from the media, and few people ever learned what really happened. Outer Heaven was wiped from the face of the earth, killing many within the area, regardless of their ties. Ooh, the multinational forces deemed this as acceptable loss, since the war orphans and refugees were considered liability. However, those who survived the bombings were rescued by Big Boss, including resistance members who had initially been opposed to him, such as Schneider. Big Boss later vowed that he and Solid Snake would meet again. Okay. So yeah, I think that's pretty much, yeah. So Big Boss. Outer Heaven is actually a little unclear. Here we go. Here we go. This is what I wanted. So. Okay, Schneider with architecture. Participate in robotics. Blah, blah, blah. So, and it's funny because Snake, you know, Big Boss stopped Shagohod, stopped Peace Walker, and then Venom stopped Sahelanthropus. And then they go on to make their own Metal Gear, which is weird. But yeah, the reasoning took command. Okay, so it does say, yeah, Venom Snake. So once Big Boss went back to him, Venom Snake took over Outer Heaven. So again, MSF is still out there somewhere throughout this whole series. I guess nobody goes back to MSF. Yeah, so it's not. My bad. It could be. Oops, Big Boss is private Merc company. This might actually also be to oppose Zero. That might actually be what this is. I forgot. Oh, there's Big Boss. Hold on. Oh, and yeah, I don't think we've read this. Okay. So Big Boss, yep. Afterwards, he served as a combat instructor. Okay, hold on. At some point during the Gulf War, information regarding Big Boss's genes was used. Okay, on various soldiers in the conflict. However, many of these soldiers would later suffer from side effects attributed from Gulf War syndrome, and their offspring would suffer from physical deformities, nicknamed Gulf War babies. 1990s, returned to the U.S. once again to take Foxhound, the special forces unit he founded almost 2 decades earlier. While serving as Foxhound commander, he secretly built up Merc. Yeah, so he was the commander, Merc Company Outer Heaven, into a large military establishment with Venom Snake. Over time, responsible for the wild and instinctive strategies utilized by Foxhound during the operation, which appeared to be planned with little caution to detail. Circa 95, David, Solid, a former Green Beret who had fought in the Gulf War, joined Foxhound. Knowing that David was one of his 3 clones, Big Boss stating that's Big Boss gave him Solid Snake. Big Boss taught Snake the CQC techniques, importance of having the will to survive on the battlefield. At some point, he told Solid Snake that he was his father. Okay. So it sounds like that might be one of the reasons. It was just the reason Outer Heaven became a thing was just to oppose Zero. But then he knew it was going to get so big that other countries would probably want to stop it. And so he planned on sending Solid Snake in. So I think that's pretty much that story. Yep. So the sneaking mission, 95, Western powers received intelligence that a weapon of mass destruction was supposedly being constructed deep within Outer Heaven. Heavily fortified state founded by a legendary mercenary. Yep. Okay. The U.S. government called upon high-tech special forces Foxhound, who was included by Big Boss. The mission was carried out. Yep. After successfully. There it is. His final words before his transmission was cut were simply Metal Gear. A few days later, Snake, Big Boss briefed him. He was to rescue, and again, he was just too good. Okay, so basically, and the key takeaway here is, Big Boss got his ass kicked by accident. The guy you play as in Metal Gear Solid 3, Peace Walker, goes off to do his own thing. Then you play as Venom, and then you take command of his enhanced clone son, Solid, and end up thwarting kind of the good guy, which is kind of funny. Like that's like a point that I feel like goes over people's heads. Like, you were the good guy the entire time, and then you play another good guy who's to take down the OG good guys. but it's not clear. It's not like they lost their way. It's just like, it's almost like by happenstance. But this is also where we get like Big Boss, and this is what will happen in Metal Gear Solid 4. It's like, technically his plan succeeds. Like what he set out to do does finally work. It's just that, you know, he had to go through what he had to go through. So that's Outer Heaven. Zanzibar. So Big Boss. Where was it? Zanzibar. All right. And then we're going to look at Revolver and Liquid. 97, Big Boss and his followers participated in the Mercenary War, giving a fledgling nation. Yes, sir, Pakistan. So Zanzibar land with Big Boss as its president, recruiting war orphans from across the third world and raising the soldiers. Big Boss hoped to create a nation by and for soldiers, where soldiers were honored, not treated as political tools. Some of the children of Zanzibar would come to view Big Boss as a father figure. Big Boss recruited Gray Fox to his cause. So Gray Fox survives, and then that's interesting. But then goes and recruits him again to ensure Zanzibar, he once again commissioned the creation of a Metal Gear. So Metal Gear D. What's Metal Gear D look like? Very similar. I love how, I mean, because obviously this is a product of its time when he first created Metal Gear. Yeah, look at this. Ugh. But when you look at Sahelanthropus looks like Rex so much more closely than what these look like. Okay. Let's see. So this time, Dr. Madnar developed the new model of his own free will after being branded a madman in the U.S. Madnar, also Madnar. Also rumored to have provided Big Boss with cybernetic body parts to compensate for the injuries he received in Outer Heaven. He didn't receive any injuries. What? Under orders from... Compensate for the injuries he didn't have any injuries in Outer Heaven. Am I missing something? That was Venom. Anyways, whatever. Screw it. I don't care. Big Boss was forced to contend with ex-Foxhound agent Solid Snake, who had been sent to infiltrate Zanzibar Land Stronghold. Elite mercs were dispatched to eliminate the intruder, but were thwarted by Snake in recognition of professionalism. A dying black ninja. What the fuck? Oh, Kyle Schneider imparted Snake with knowledge on Dr. Keo Mar's location, claiming the Zanzibar leader would have wanted him to. Black Ninja, okay. After Holly White was captured by Zanzibar Land, forcing land forces and imprisoned, Big Boss anticipated likelihood of Snake rescuing her, had one of the children posted near the cell to report whether he was nearby, as Holly denied Snake's presence. Despite Big Boss efforts, Metal Gear D was destroyed, and most trusted Lieutenant Gray Fox was defeated in hand-to-hand combat by Snake. Interesting. Big Boss then confronted Snake in the underground, appealing to the warrior within Snake that craved the world of perpetual warfare that he was trying to create. Having spent his entire life on the battlefield, Big Boss could not conceive of a world without war, and stated that the best soldiers were otherwise dead weight and useless when removed from the battlefield. See, and this is where, after he proclaimed his defiance, Big Boss imparted his final words of his own mentor. Oh, well, we know that's the boss. I wanted to know the words. Hold on. Oh, okay. See, this is where it's not like he's super old yet, because obviously there's Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 4 2014. But it's so weird because, I mean, yeah, he did struggle with that, like finding his place on the battlefield and stuff. But it feels like there's a little bit of a disconnect. Oh no, my bad. I guess that could be right. Yeah, he still just he couldn't conceive a world without war. It's like, dude can't. I get it, like, and that's a real thing. That is a real thing nowadays, where there are soldiers. It's like they retire, and it's like, I don't know what to do because I've been trained to do this, which is also an unfortunate mindset. It's like, well, go learn to do something else. Like, sorry, no offense. I mean, it's a whole mental game. I'm not saying it's just that easy, but like when I think about it, it's like, I don't know, pick up video games, like pick up art, build figures, play some Warhammer, like D&D. Like, I don't know. Like maybe back in the day, it kind of makes sense because I won't say there was less to do, but like if you had a job, you had a job. Nowadays, we have so many luxuries. Like you can go do stuff. So it's weird to think like somebody can't conceive a world without war. It's like, I get it. And I mean, we're always in a state of battle. And I'm luckily enough to be in a place that I haven't had to see war. But I don't know. It sucks. But it does feel. He feels more like a bad guy here than Metal Gear Solid 3 and Peace Walker. But anyways, it doesn't matter who wins here. Our fight will continue. The loser will be liberated from the battlefield, and the winner will remain. And the survivor will live out the rest of his days as a soldier. Big Boss is Solid Snake. So Big Boss attempted to gun down Snake, but ultimately fell to Snake's makeshift flamethrower. Having underestimated his initially unarmed opponent, Big Boss yelled Snake's name as he was engulfed in flames, unwilling to concede the battle, but eventually collapsed from severe burns and left for dead by Snake. Severe burns is interesting because I mean, granted, you just see his head, his face, so his face must not have gotten burned, or he got like skin grafts. So anyways, his body was eventually recovered by the Patriots, which was, of course, what the group he and Zero created afterwards with the Philosopher's Legacy. Despite suffering major injuries, still alive, Patriots then had him injected with nanomachines. Thank goodness they had nanomachines at this time. And this is where the science fiction really comes in handy. Now, granted, I say we really don't even have nanomachines now, but you know what? It's possible we could have some technology. I don't. Nanomachine, this feels like this is the cop-out. This is where like, oh, he's still alive because nanomachines. It's like, dude, we don't even have that now, and it's 2023. How did you have nanomachines? Oh, my bad. Also, in order to artificially induce a coma, preserving him as an icon for the organization. But yeah, the nanomachines ploy, it's like, what do we even have in the way of nanomachines now? So this feels like this plot doesn't work because this is not a real thing, but science fiction. Genome was then used to identify the so-called soldier genes, which were implemented into the next generation special forces via gene therapy. Yeah, Big Boss's body was later believed to be in cold storage to preserve his remains. 2005, Big Boss's body was one of the demands issued by a rogue Foxhound unit, which launched a revolt on Shadow Moses. Yeah, we'll get to that. Commander Liquid Snake. Liquid planned to use Boss's DNA to cure genetic mutations in the genome soldiers and to recreate Big Boss's dream of outer heaven. That's weird. See, recreate his dream, even though I'm pretty sure he hates him. Utilizing the threat of nuclear war within the stolen Metal Gear Rex. In doing so, Liquid hoped to surpass his father, for whom he had developed an intense hatred. Yeah, there it is. Big Boss. So the irony of, I'm going to continue your legacy, but I really hate you. I guess I'll do it better than you. I don't know. But Big Boss's supposed death had also left vengeful Naomi Hunter to make Solid Snake a target of the Foxdie virus. Oh, this is interesting. I don't remember this. Hold on. Because, I had Naomi up earlier, but I don't remember why. Why did I have her? I had her up. Oh, because she's Frank's sister. That's why. Yeah, so she's actually the one who's on the support team for Snake during Shadow Moses and the whole Guns of the Patriot. Okay, well, hold on. We'll still... Anyways. Yeah, what is... And so, I had also left a vengeful Naomi Hunter to make Solid Snake a target of the Foxdie. Though only Liquid's genome proved recognizable to the bioweapon, which led to his death. What's her issue? Oh, nootropics. Alpha Brain. And anti-freezing peptide prevented. Why is she seeking revenge? Oh! That's how. Okay. The help of Big Boss, whom she met in Mozambique, now we integrated. Oh, because Big Boss is cool. That's why. After Solid Snake defeated Big Boss and crippled Frank. Oh, no wonder she's pissed. Fuck that bitch. Yeah, I do remember that because it's her fault. The reason Snake gets old. Naomi, bitch, hate you. You made Snake old. Okay, that's got it. That makes sense because yeah, Frank's her brother. And he all right. Anyways, let's see. So, data relating to the location of Big Boss's comatose body was stored in the Patriots AIGW. This data fell into the hands of Raiden. Oh, I love Raiden. Raiden's so fucking cool. Whoever had a problem with Raiden can shut the fuck up. Just because he kind of looked like a pretty boy. Fucking Jack the Ripper. Jack's back. Yes. Big Mama. Then we brought Eva back. Yeah. Eva had Big Boss's body rebuilt, eventually restoring him to his former... What the fuck? Hold on. Using the body parts of Liquid and Solidus, Eva had Big Boss's body rebuilt, eventually restoring him his former appearance, though he remained in a comatose state due to the Patriots nanomachines within him. That's the one thing I can't remember, and we'll get there. So we get to see a body bag that has a snake in it. And I don't remember if it's Venom or Solidus. Okay, but we won't worry about that because that's Metal Gear Solid 5. Okay, so that's pretty much, that's Big Boss. So that's, and then we got Revolver, which we're still gonna look into. And then we'll recap Outer Heaven and Zanzibar. So Revolver is mainly, he was Adam, right? He recovered the KGB's half of the legacy. The Patriots. So he was recruited by Major Zero along with Big Boss, Sigint, Paramedic, and Eva to found the Patriots. And then eventually, regarding Zero's interpretation of the boss's will. So once Big Boss parted ways. Okay, hold on. Where is it? Ocelot attempted to keep track of Zero's group, which became known as Cypher. Don't really care. Then we got Ocelot, Troy Baker's Ocelot and Phantom Pain. Then we've got this. Okay, Ocelot eventually recovered his suppressed memories. We did confirm that. That's obviously talked about. Miller discovered the truth about himself and confronted him. Ocelot explained Big Boss's true plan of, so as soon as he woke up in the hospital and they split, I think he went under some memory suppression stuff to really believe Venom. I don't even remember. Hold on. I don't remember that. Okay, yeah. So he would then use hypnotherapy on himself to make himself believe that the body double was truly Big Boss and would support him in his vengeful campaign against SOF. I don't really know why you had to do that. Whatever. I think that's kind of lame. But whatever. Also explained Big Boss' true plan. Okay, asked Miller to aid in the revolution to continue to support him in films. Yeah, so Miller, however, refused to take part. He instead declared that he would keep his appearance in front of Venom Snake for now. He would only do so to undermine Big Boss by strengthening his Phantom. One day, he would also seek out Big Boss's sons and train him to cause the downfall of his plan. Yep, we get read that. Ocelot vowed and turned to seek out the other son, Eli, to oppose Miller and Cypher. That's what it was that I read earlier. So, both parties readily accepted that one of them might had to kill the other someday, but ultimately agreed that it was in the best interest to learn to coexist for the time being. That's pretty. Woo, waking up every day looking over this motherfucker. Fuck Miller though. I'm on Ocelot's side. Ocelot's so cool. All right. Anyways. And then we have this. So let's see. Afterwards, Okay, yeah, after Solid Snake, you know what, actually, let's check this out. By the time dissolution of the Soviet Union, Ocelot had left Spetsnaz, although he claimed to share Gurlukovich's belief in restoring Russia to her former glory, secretly held no interest in the matter. Ocelot's official file mentioned that after the fall of the Soviet Union, he joined Oman and Russian tax police elite SWAT team. Afterwards, he joined the SVR, which became dissatisfied with the agency rigid system, and left Russia. This account was considered to be false. However, during this time, he actually pursued merc work, cutting a swath through the world's hotspots. After Solid Snake foiled Big Boss's attempt coup d'etat during the Outer Heaven and Zanzibar, the Patriots had Big Boss put in a nanomachine-induced coma to preserve the Patriots' Messiah, which infuriated Ocelot and Eva. As a result, they formed a plan to recover Big Boss's body from Zero's clutches. Afterwards, Ocelot was scouted by the U.S. Special Forces Foxhound and joined under Liquid Snake's command. Unbeknownst to Liquid, Ocelot's decision to join was based on his admiration for Big Boss, its former commander, and the man from whom Liquid had been cloned. He then aided Liquid in becoming a leader on par with his father, living up to the promise he had made to Miller almost 20 years earlier. Ocelot became the unit's interrogation specialist, operating under additional codename Revolver. During this time, Ocelot was reacquainted with Liquid's ally, I don't know how that, Tretij? Rabinok, but Psycho Mantis. Ocelot and Eva became allies of Naomi Hunter and used her adopted Grey brother, Grey Fox. Oh, and it's adopted? Bitch. Fuck you. To kill Foxhound's medical chief, Dr. Clark, paramedic. That's what it was. That's where she came back. So paramedic was Foxhound's medical chief. Bro, Eva and Ocelot were pissed. So, this is just what's unclear. How the fuck did Liquid not remember Ocelot? That's what I'm super unclear about. But anyways, whatever. So then we've got Shadow Moses. The main thing, because we're gonna play that. That's Metal Gear Solid. The main thing is, I'm not gonna read most of this right now. Is he gets his hand cut off, and he gets Liquid's arm put on him. I read it earlier. Okay, there we go. At some point, he had his right arm replaced with Liquid's arm via an arm transplant surgery in France, with Solidus presumably. Okay, involved in the funds. During this time, he aided Solidus, helping him to go find at the Patriot. Okay, Ocelot began utilizing another combination of psychotherapy, drugs, hypnosis, and nanomachines to become Liquid's mental doppelganger. Because that's what a lot of people joked about. And like at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, it's kind of cool. Spoiler: you kind of fight all the personalities. You go like from Ocelot to Revolver to Liquid Ocelot. It's really dope. But again, it wasn't supernatural. And apparently Liquid's, the mental state of him being Liquid's doppelganger, only manifested every time he and Solid were in close proximity to make it look like spiritual possession. But I remember that being a joke, like, you became that dude because you have his arm on you. Like, his arm is enough, and that does feel very sci-fi. Like another body part put on you still has the ability, has the conscience genes of that person it came from to manipulate you is so fucking bonkers and out of control. But whatever. That's all it was. It was just psychotherapy drug. It was him doing his whole brain thing again, because Ocelot's the coolest and will not stop until Big Boss's dream was fulfilled, where all this shit's done. Even though Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance. So really, they don't like this whole story because of Revengeance doesn't really come to an end, and it kind of sucks. But anyways, so yeah, that's Ocelot. We won't get into this. This is Metal Gear Solid 2. Hold on, what is this? Little did Ocelot realize, however, that Sonny modified the computer worm to prevent the total collapse of the civilization he had predicted. As Otacon explained soon after the fight was over, however, despite this, his plan did nonetheless leave America in a position to give up unilateralism, as well as many other countries bankrupt from their use of PMCs and a huge debt over their use of them, to which not even passing laws of regulating the PMCs would be enough in regarding to paying it off. I don't quite understand that. Wait, so are we saying Sunny modified the computer worm to prevent the total collapse, but they wanted the total collapse? Oh, was it Sunny's fault? Damn it, Sunny. That's fine. I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, so yeah, so that's Liquid. So, or Ocelot. Ocelot's been down since day one. And has yeah, he's just been him and Big Boss's goal felt like it's always been to like stop this whole thing. So anyways, that's Revolver. Liquid, Psycho Mantis did take the vocal cord parasite out of Liquid. Liquid went on to do some bullshit. He joins British Special Services. Taken prisoner, declared missing. He was rescued by the U.S. government. Okay, so he wasn't involved really for a long time until after Solid Snake defeated Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 2. Liquid's hatred and envy for Snake grew since he had been denied the chance to exact his revenge on his father he believed had chosen him to be the inferior clone. He was eventually reunited with his old ally Mantis. The two joined Foxhound, Liquid becoming a squad leader after Snake had already retired. So Snake was a part of it, left, and then he joined up. I don't know if his like original plan was to like join up, like knowing Snake was a part of it, and then it just didn't work out, but I don't know. And then, hey, there's Roy Campbell again. Now it makes sense why Roy Campbell was the commanding unit, or the commander for Foxhound, considering Big Boss had run into Roy Campbell. And Big Boss is the one who reintegrated this whole Foxhound thing. Then Foxhound subordinate Revolver Ocelot convinced Liquid. So he's the one who convinced Liquid to launch an insurrection against the U.S. government during a weapons testing exercise on Shadow Moses. Along with other members of Foxhound and the Next Gen Special Forces, they seized control of the island's nuclear weapons disposal site and Metal Gear Rex. Calling themselves Sons of the Big Boss, the group took DARPA chief Donald Anderson, aka SIGINT, and Arms Tech President Kenneth Baker as hostages, threatened the White House nuclear strike unless his demands were met. The body of Big Boss. The incident was deliberately brought about to coincide with signing of the START 3 Accord between U.S. and Russia. Exposing Rex's existence would put the signing of the treaty in jeopardy, erode confidence in America's commitment to non-proliferation and create international government. So we don't want to get into much of that because, again, that's Shadow Moses. Yeah, here it is. I've been waiting inside this arm all along, waiting for the right time to awaken. So stupid. I love it, though. Yeah, that's pretty much Liquid. Liquid doesn't have a big story arc. He's not involved much. He just becomes the leader, takes over Shadow Moses Island, and then Snake and him finally meet up, and they're like, "Oh, brother." Which Snake, I don't think ever, or Solid David, didn't even know of this dude, but he knew of Snake. Because he knew he was a clone, obviously from Phantom Pain. So that's pretty much that. So yeah, all right, that is it. And yes, this is not cut up. I think that was pretty efficient. I didn't lose my place too much. And that kind of gave me some answers. The main Huey with the strange love and Hal, that's like the main thing that was to me kind of unclear in the Phantom Pain if he really did it or if it was an accident. But no, he did it. Huey is a punk bitch. And there's little bits of everybody in there. You know what? Might as well read writing. So Outer Heaven Uprising is just that. Big Boss went to build that whole thing. Venom Snake took charge. Big Boss went back to Foxhound. They were like, oh shit, you got to take care of this. And he's like, all right, I'll get my shittiest soldier to do it. Oh shit, my shittiest soldier, who's based off of me and I trained, fucking killed it. He's a badass. He killed my clone. He killed my body double, my Phantom. And then he dips, shows up on Zanzibar. Solid is like, didn't I kill you already? And he's like, haha, you killed a body double. And then he does get burned. And then they think he's dead. And then that's it. That's the main thing of Metal Gear in Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake. Raiden, Jack the Ripper, White Devil, and Snake. They call him Snake too. Oh yeah, because he goes by Snake at the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 2. I'm not gonna get much, but yeah. Oh shit, I just saw that. Under Solidus, Jack became a killing machine. Oh shit. I didn't know that. Of course not, because I'm not actually that well versed in Metal Gear Solid. Don't get confused. I said it once again. I said it once before. I'll say it again. All right, hold on. Let's just. Born on a rainy day in Liberia during his youth, turbulent period. That was the first Liberian Civil War. Jack was adopted. So he's adopted by Solidus, who named him and became his godfather and killed his former parents. Yeah, damn. Jack was subsequently raised as a child soldier and later fought in the Civil War. He and other children were shown Hollywood action films daily for image training and were given food mixed with gunpowder to make them more controllable. Is that a thing? Following information. Is from outside Hideo Kojima's core Metal Saga. Its canonicity within the continuity is disputed. Therefore, reader. Oh, well, fucking. What? I want to know the thing. I want to know the real thing. Anyways, all right. Well, we'll just take it as is. Well, guess what? This becomes canon. We'll just say it. If you refuse to cement and finalize the canon, this becomes the canon, because look at all the effort people put in. So, anyways. So wait, everything right here is true, but everything after this might not be true. So anyways, Jack, other member, small boy. Oh, small boy unit. I really want a band to be called Small Boy Unit. All right, Jack was injected with unknown substance during physicians on another. Jack witnessed Solidus demonstrate to him that blades were no weapon compared to guns by slitting other soldiers on the throne in front of him. Under Solidus, Jack became a killing machine, also known as the White Devil. Jack the Ripper, due to his incredibly high kill rate compared to the other boys, his age, referenced being one of the few Caucasian boys, and they were armed with a gun. At the age of 6, he would later remember it as an AK rifle, as well as a knife. What? He proved to be a superior soldier, rising to become captain of the Small Boy Unit. So stupid. Cruelty in dispatching enemies with them is another reason he got the name Ripper. Eventually, without Solidus' knowledge, he was later removed by a non-government organization and taken to the United States. Jack and other surviving members of the Small Boy Unit then underwent extensive amounts of counseling before becoming at least outwardly stable. There, Jack came into the hands of the Patriots, who implemented his cerebral cortex with a high concentration of nanomachines in order to have him function as a backup system for an optic neuro AI. The Patriots chose him out of all the other soldiers in his unit because, unlike the others who would live up to their past and pay for it dearly, Jack did not accept his past and despised every moment of it. The same nanomachines were capable of memory manipulation by connecting or stimulating synapses, primarily nerve sections in the dormant part of the brain. In addition, Jack was not listed under any of the U.S. database, FBI, NSA, CIA. Jack would grow to suppress the memories about his terrible childhood, burying the memories of his bloody past, though he still suffered from nightmare of his past nearly every night. Now living in the United States, Jack joined the military, but he still ends up becoming military. I love it. Admiral skills were first recognized by Army Task Force 21. Okay. Participated in over 300 VR simulations, including recreations of the Shadow Moses and the tanker incident. I forgot. Okay, he eventually left the group 2007. Jack met Rose, after transferring to Fort Hamilton in New York. He had an argument about King Kong. They parted ways and met again after, shocked that they worked in the same place. Jack grew to love Rose, but his cruel experiences had left him melancholic and emotionally distant, and he constantly shut her out of his problems, in large part because of his PTSD, included nightmares. He also refused to sleep next to Rose out of fear of hurting her. Most times when they did get together, he either stayed awake all night or otherwise left Rose's place, and he wouldn't. Damn, I think this might be talked about in Metal Gear Solid 2. It wouldn't let her in his bedroom. And man, just like Metal Gear Solid 3, there's probably a lot of story we will miss out because I'm not going to go hard into the codex. But that's where also a lot of the stories are told. He wouldn't let her in his and he wouldn't let her in his bedroom. They eventually this eventually culminated in entering his room without permission, which was devoid of any personal objects save for a bed and a desk. However, all of this drama was a ruse by the patrons to gain more control over Jack's life, with Rosemary acting as a spy. Sometime prior to the Big Shell incident, Jack was recruited by supposedly reformed Foxhound, especially even though unit that no longer officially existed. And then the Manhattan incident. There's our boy. Yeah, just because he's got this and he's a little bit like leaner. Not gonna say feminine. No, he ain't feminine, but he's just lean as opposed to Snake, who was muscular, like Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake. But yeah, that's obviously touched on where oh, look at that SOCOM. Yes. His memory suppression, right? His good, and then when he's like, Jack's back. Okay, cool. So we got that's dope about the Solidus thing, and again, maybe that's actually talked about. Bro, I remember when this first released. Oh, like the basically new Gray Fox, new Frank Yeager, and then yeah. So then we get into Metal Gear Solid Rising: Revengeance. I think it's time for Jack to let her rip. Oh God, I'm so excited. I've watched gameplay of this. I still never got around to playing it. Oh, so yeah, that's about it. That was actually about an hour wiki read. I figured it wasn't gonna go super fast. But yeah, so that's our wiki, just to get a little bit of information, and that's what happens in Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, preparing us for Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid, and the Shadow Moses incident. So thank you for joining me for this wonderful wiki read where we got some information. I don't think there's anybody else because I don't want to go too hard into Naomi or some of the other people who we will meet and get to know when we do play Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear 4. So I think that's it. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in Metal Gear Solid. Doses.